Town of Clinton Planning Board meeting of May 5th, 2020 to order at 7:35. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and pursuant to Executive Order number 202.1 issued on March 12, 2020, suspended the open meetings law and emergency state and federal bans on large meetings or gatherings. The Town of Clinton Planning Board schedule for May 5th, 2020 will be held electronically via Zoom instead of the public meeting open for the public to attend in person. Members of the public may view the board meeting as it is live streamed on YouTube, which would be www.townofclinton.com/government/planning-board-videos/
You don't have, it's not necessary to say that. No one will write it down. We've provided links on the website to the correct page.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
And I'd like to go around the table. Everybody introduce themselves. I'm Art DePasqua, the chairman. Start with Paul.
Hi, it's Paul Thomas, board member.
Tracy Rizicka, board member.
Jack Auspitz.
Justin Carroll.
Sarah Love, board member.
Jerry Dolan, board member.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Okay, the first item on the agenda is the Boucher area variance, 304 Clinton Avenue. Is anybody online that's representing that applicant?
Yeah, I'm gonna do you want me to let all of them or just the first one in?
Well, I don't know who's here, so.
Patrick Murphy, Mark Graminsky, and Robert Nielsen.
Just do one by one for now.
Robert Nielsen.
Okay, he's joining the meeting now. Robert Nielsen's coming in.
Robert, are you in?
He's using an iPhone and I don't see video or audio connected.
Well, just give him a chance. Give it a chance.
If it's a public meeting, and shouldn't they all be able to join in?
Yeah, I know, but it's just going to be chaos. A lot of people right out there. So at least we're dealing it. It's like you're calling the applicant one by one, you know?
I understand, but they have they could just come and sit in on a meeting if they wanted to.
Here's your applicant, Robert Nielsen.
Robert, can you see us? Robert Nielsen.
He's got no voice.
You got to do your audio, Robert.
His audio has not joined.
I know, just give him a chance. Everybody is new to this. Patience. Robert?
His audio is connecting now, so he may have gotten it.
Hello.
There you are.
Sorry, I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and nobody picked up. So, good evening, everybody.
Could you please introduce yourself?
Oh, this is Robert Nielsen from R.E. Nielsen Construction, and I'm representing Rebecca Boucher for her application for a sideline variance to construct a greenhouse.
Okay, could you just briefly go over the application and then we'll discuss it?
Yes. Unfortunately, I do not have the application in front of me. My apologies. I can just give you a little history of what we did on the property. There was an existing caretaker's house that we got a permit to demolish that was 10 feet closer to the property line than we are proposing our greenhouse to be. So we removed the caretaker's cottages in its entirety but retain the stone retaining wall for its aesthetics. And that retaining wall will then be part of the planting wall 8 feet beyond the greenhouse. If you have your plan, I hope you have your plan in front of you there.
Yes.
You can see the greenhouse, which measures 9 foot, 19 foot 2 wide and 14 foot 1 deep, is 8 feet within the existing stone foundation of the previous caretaker's house.
Yep.
The peak of the roof of the greenhouse will be 12 feet off the ground, and the grade at the greenhouse is approximately 6 feet below the grade of the road. So when you look from the road, you won't be looking up at a, you know, it's going to not appear to be sticking out of the ground very much.
This is, as you probably know, this is a two-step process. The planning board reviews your application and then sends either a positive, negative, or a neutral recommendation to the zoning board of appeals, which then makes the final decision on your application.
Okay.
Okay? Jason, you have this one?
Justin, yeah.
Justin. Justin.
Yeah. Jason, just introduce yourself.
Justin, Art, Justin Carroll.
Justin, what did I say, Jason? I'm sorry.
Justin Carroll, board member, yes. I've got this one. So as the board may recall, the applicant came in front of us, I think, for a demolition permit back in January. As Mr. Nielsen stated, and so they're looking to build this greenhouse. There are two area variances that would be required. The first is to reduce the front yard setback from 100 feet to 40 feet. This is a 280 square foot greenhouse on an 18-acre lot. And the second variance is because the accessory structure will be closer to the fronting road, which is Clinton Avenue, than the main structure. Again, there was an existing structure here. And as the applicant mentioned, they're now going to, put it within the old footprint. It'll be an agricultural structure as opposed to just a caretaker's house. There's trees lining the property line, and it's an AR5 area. It's agriculture to begin with. So I think it all makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And does anybody have any questions?
No, it seems like a very good use of the stone wall and stuff.
Okay. Justin, do you have a
Got a resolution for the
resolution there?
Sure, I'd like to make the following motion. Resolution of the Town of Clinton Planning Board making a positive recommendation to the Zoning Board of Appeals on the requested area variances to Section 250 Attachment 2, reducing the front yard setback from 100 feet to 40 feet, and Section 250-22, permitting construction of an accessory building closer to the fronting street than the principal building in order to build a 280 square foot greenhouse as requested by Rebecca Bouchard on property located at 304 Clinton Avenue, Salt Point, New York, tax grid number in an AR5 zoning district. Whereas the applicant is requesting a reduction in the front yard setback on the west side of the property from 100 feet to 40 feet to build a 280 square foot greenhouse on an 18.19 acre lot. The proposed location of the accessory structure is closer to the fronting street than the principal building. However, the accessory structure will be built within the footprint of a recently demolished accessory structure that was not structurally sound. The property is in an AR5 zoning district. The property is not within the Ridgeline Scenic and Historic Protection Overlay District. The property is not in a critical environmental area. The variance requested is substantial. However, the proposed location is the best choice given the existing use of the property as a horse farm and prior accessory structure location and foundation. An undesirable change will not be produced in the character of the neighborhood or be detrimental to nearby properties, as this lot is similar to others in the neighborhood. The benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some other method. The proposed variance should not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical and environmental conditions of the neighborhood. The alleged difficulty is self-created, but should not necessarily preclude the granting of the area variance considering the surrounding conditions. There is a letter of authorization on file for Robert Nilsson to act on behalf of Rebecca Boucher. Now therefore be it resolved, the planning board is making a positive recommendation for the approval to the Clinton Zoning Board of Appeals for this requested variance.
Second.
Jack Ospitz, second.
Okay, okay. When anybody makes a second or whatever, just mention your name, okay?
Okay.
Okay, discussion? When we take a vote, your name, yay or nay, or abstain. Okay, all in favor?
Yeah.
Let's do a roll call. I'm sorry.
Roll call.
Let's do one by one. Let's
That-
do one by one. Start with Justin up there.
Aye.
Tracy Rizika, aye.
Jack Ospitz, aye.
Sarah Love, aye.
Jerry Dolan, aye.
Paul Thomas, aye.
Art DePasqua, aye.
Yay.
So moved. Okay. You've got a positive recommendation and you will be going to the Zoning Board of Appeals for final approval.
Do we have a date on that yet?
May 28th. May 28th.
Thank you very much. And I
So-
just want to thank everybody tonight in
All right.
these times that we're going through for everything
Robert.
that you've done.
Robert, it's going to be a public hearing, so it's going to be exciting. If you could give me the PDF copy, please, of the map and everything.
I will.
Okay,
I'll send that to you.
All right, good. all set.
okay. Fred, we're going to go to the next item on the agenda, which would be the Murphy area variance, 53 Lake Pleasant Drive.
So I can sign off, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes,
Just
thank
leave
you.
the meeting. You just leave
Thank
the meeting.
everybody. Thank you very much. Bye.
Mark. Yes, Mark. That's Mark. Is
Mark,
Patrick here?
Do we
Is
have
Patrick
somebody
here?
for Murphy?
Mark, I see Mark. Mark, is Patrick going to be around? Mark, can you hear me, Mark?
it's connecting.
Hello.
Hi, Mark.
Yep, here we are.
Patrick is around, right? Fred,
Yeah.
you put Patrick in too.
Yeah, I was just on the phone with him, Marlene.
Is he going to be joining?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Good,
Do
long
you
time.
wanna,
Yeah.
Mark, do you want to wait until he gets on, or would you like to go start and briefly describe your application?
Why don't we wait until Pat gets on and he
Okay.
can, I think he can better describe it. And I'm here for some support.
Patrick, can you hear us? Does anyone
Just
have
on the phone.
Does anyone have Patrick's?
Can everybody see my my map? This is
Yes.
map.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I think somebody needs to call Patrick because he's not in the meeting.
I just texted him.
Okay.
but I'll call him.
So anyway, this is the layout.
Hey, we're trying to see you in the meeting.
And we can't hear him either.
This is- But you can hear everybody. Okay, so
But we can't hear him.
you can't see,
We can't hear him.
he can't, so you need to sign in with your audio?
Join with computer.
I'm gonna put you on speakerphone. Hold on just a second. Go ahead, Fred. Tell him what to do.
He needs to join with computer audio. I don't know what device he's using, but he needs to join audio somehow so we
What
can.
device are you using?
I'm using my laptop. I couldn't hear that.
He's
He's
using a
probably on
laptop
mute.
computer, his Dell computer.
Sarah, he got to unmute.
He should join. He can leave and try to come back in again. That might make it work, but we
The
don't know.
the best option, I would say, is
Or is
just
to phone
close out
call.
your browser
Okay,
and
Oh.
go back to the email and click on the link.
okay, I'm gonna do
But
that.
leave the
right now.
meeting first.
Okay.
Have him
Okay.
leave the meeting first.
Connect.
Okay.
All right. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. This is a learning process for everyone.
Okay, thank you. Shut everything down. Hold on. This.
So you saw there's a password and then there's also, there's the meeting.
Yeah.
ID.
Hold on. I need to, because what I have to actually do first, is I have to link to my desktop at work. I'm sorry. All right, so that is.
And you've clicked on the link in the email?
Yeah, hold on, I'm almost there.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, I had to go back to my
That's okay. You don't need to explain.
email. Okay, here we go.
Join with video
Now,
and
I
then
just
join
clicked on the
computer audio.
link.
And now it says join, it says sign in with video.
No, it's not giving that.
What's it saying?
Hold on. Right, here it is. Okay, Zoom. Zoom, open meetings. Open meetings, yep. Okay.
Okay, I admitted him. Let's see if it works.
Okay, it just came up as join with computer audio. I want
Yes.
that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did that. I think I see you, Sarah Love.
Hey, nice to meet you in person.
Hi. But are you seeing me?
Do we see him? I need to make my thing bigger, but
No, it says fail to detect microphone. Please make sure your microphone properly connected. Test microphone, test speaker and microphone.
We
okay.
could hear you.
You hear a ringtone? No, I don't. Okay, I definitely need some help here because I am not connected. I know you guys are in the meeting and I'm not connected.
Okay.
He should. Yeah.
What do you want him to do? Call in?
We can hear him.
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can
him.
hear him. You could just talk. We could hear you. I have the map in front of me.
I think
Okay.
aren't we hearing him on Sarah's phone?
Yes.
Can you see us, Patrick?
I don't think his voice is going to be clear for the recording. He should probably call in.
Uh-oh, have we lost him totally?
Thanks.
You need to speak really loud.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
No, we lost. He's not on the audio.
So,
He's got to call.
Sarah,
You're gonna
just-
have to call in.
yeah, have
See
him
the
call the
instructions in
special
the email to
number.
call in.
What's that?
You see the instructions in the email to call in. Don't change what you're doing with the, so you can still see us. But you
Okay.
also, you need to use your phone to call in, and you'll see in the email the instructions for that.
Okay, I'm gonna, okay,
So we'll hang up and you're gonna call in.
all right, hold
Okay.
on, I'm gonna go to that right now.
This is going to take him a few minutes. He's got to type in the full meeting code and the password.
You have to type in the full meeting code and the password as you're calling
After
in.
he calls the telephone number, that's the
Okay, where do I do?
You'll do it into your keypad once you call in.
Yeah.
All right, hold on, I'm gonna try this.
You're gonna call in using a phone.
Join meeting, hold on. It's just not doing it.
So my suggestion is to pick up a phone and to call in. That's what we're asking you to do at this point so that we can have you part of this meeting.
All right, it's not letting me do that.
Well, you can't do it with your computer. You have to do it with a telephone.
But can you bring me a phone?
Sorry, I didn't mean to sound.
Yeah, he's probably
No.
going to have to hang up with you unless he's got another phone line.
Something's wrong and I cannot figure it out.
You know what? That's okay.
Audio.
Just call in, please.
Okay, so I just found a place where it gives me all these things to dial, different numbers to dial into.
No, you're going to call in with a telephone. There's a telephone number in the email.
Yes.
Okay.
Tell him to call the New York State number. It should be at the top of the list.
There's a New York State number at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, hold on. I'm finding home phone number or home phone.
Fred, does it prompt him for the password and the other number?
Yeah,
ID?
it's voice prompted all the way through, but
Okay.
you have to type a bunch of numbers and you got to just go slow and careful.
And I can see you guys on this.
Right,
on
that's
the-
fine.
on the
Just
computer, but I
dial,
can't
just
hear
dial the
or-
number. Just dial the number.
Okay, I will. Someone's grabbing me a home phone. Sorry, or should I just call you? I don't want to lose you on my cell phone.
But we can always call
You
it right back.
you have to if that's the only phone you
Okay.
I'm
got.
grabbing a different
Okay.
cell phone.
Yep. Dial that number. And then it's going to have voice prompts for the ID and the password. So you have to just make sure you enter them correctly.
Exactly.
I can't pull it up. You have, it says right in your email, there's an ID and a password. Do you not see the ID and the password in your email?
Sarah,
Correct.
I can read the number off to you, Sarah, if you want.
Yeah, hang on. Go ahead, Patrick. And then it should voice prompt you for the password. He should be in the meeting now.
There we go.
Okay, I'm on hold by the host.
We can hear you now.
Okay, so should I hang up my other phone?
If you want, that's fine. You can always call my number back.
Okay. Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Welcome
All
aboard.
right, sorry about that, folks.
That's okay. Can you, you or Mark, briefly explain what you require in your variance?
So Pat, why don't you describe what you want to do? I thought you could better describe it.
Okay, so the things I'm looking to do are, as you look at the drawing, there's the proposed deck. What I have done in not knowing when the town would be back and running is I built a temporary deck that is in line with the existing deck. Yeah, here I'm gonna use my cursor right here. This is the existing deck right there. What I've done is I've built a deck right here, and I did that for safety because there was a new door coming out of the kitchen right here. Kitchen is an active and open building permit. In hindsight, I probably will never build this large deck. That I'm very happy with the smaller one that I did as really a temporary safety measure. So what I'm really looking for is to be able to have this deck smaller than what I proposed, and this propane tank that has been installed that I put in during the winter because I didn't have heat, so I had to throw the propane tank in. So those are the things I'm looking for: is a small extension of an existing deck and the buried propane tank.
Okay. Dara, do you have any questions here?
Well, I think that fairly straightforward. Everybody's probably been to the property and seen that it's right next to Brown's Pond, which creates a potential for need for the water permit. It's in the controlled area. So we're looking at basically three different things: the location of the deck to Brown's Pond, the location of the buried 500-gallon propane tank to Brown's Pond, and the one thing that I wasn't able to locate was information on, are there setback requirements for the proposed propane tank? Is there, and I just couldn't find it in the zoning book. Is there something that says how far a buried tank should be? Is it considered an accessory structure, or how are we treating a propane tank? That is a question I sort of throw back at my senior board members. Anybody have an answer?
Well, years ago, the generator that is included with the propane tank is not considered a structure. So this one is a buried tank under the ground, and it's for heating. But the generator is no longer an structure. It could be in the setback, but this one is a propane tank. So I guess it's a question, what's the use? And the use is for heating, and it's under the ground. So it's you guys.
Well, so, I mean, it's like 40 feet from Brown's Pond. So I think that's an issue that we need to make sure that it's installed properly. And I mean, it's quite
And
close.
that's what it triggers the water law, the wetlands permit.
Right. But so what you're saying, Arlene, is you think it might not need a variance?
For the tank, for the propane tank.
Right.
Because the generator, every time we do the generator, it's in the setback. We don't even, and the tank, propane tank, is included with the generator.
Okay, so, but it's still within so it's basically going to fall under the water law, but not need a variance.
Yeah, or you could just cover it just in case. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I'd like to just be clear on whether everybody else thinks it's it should be getting a variance or if it just needs to be permitted under the water law. What are the rest of you guys thinking?
I think that this comes under the water law. It's a structure.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion on it. I think the building inspector
Wasn't clear in his letter at all about it.
No.
Because like as I said, in the past, the propane tank is always included with the generator, and we don't really give a variance to that because
Right.
it's considered not a structure. And
Right.
also, you gotta put into consideration, this propane tank is under the ground.
I know, which is actually even a little bit more concerning that it's under the ground 40 feet from Brown's Pond.
Well, we're still gonna do the approval for the wetlands for the water law permit with that. It's
Right.
just a question whether it needs a variance setback, the rear.
Okay, well, it seems to me if we've been treating the generators that they don't need a variance, then this would also apply here.
Well, what do we do for buried oil tanks and buried other stuff?
I can't say I've dealt with an
You know,
oil
like
tank.
geothermal heating and that sort of stuff. How do we
I don't-
treat those?
The only thing that I think we actually have experience with is the tanks that go along with generators.
And what are those tanks holding? Oil?
Propane, I
Propane.
think.
Propane? Okay.
I don't really know what they're
Yeah,
holding.
propane.
And what size are those tanks usually?
But it doesn't really matter what size because we treat the propane tank as part of the generator, and the generator is not subject or it's not considered as an accessory structure.
Okay.
Okay, well, the only question then would be,
Well, so are we all willing to say that a big propane tank is not an accessory structure?
according to the rules and regs on generators, it's not an accessory structure.
Okay.
But the only thing I'm not sure of is the distance to the lake. So I think it would need some sort of variance because it's within
The
100
controlled
feet.
area?
Yeah, but if it's not considered an accessory structure, right? You can plop anything you want in the setback if it's not considered permanent or an accessory structure.
But-
Right.
So aren't we saying, we're saying the tank and the deck, if it's going to be built, are both within the controlled areas, so they need a water law permit
Right.
for all that construction, you know, the digging.
That's for sure. That's
digging
for
up to the
sure.
tank.
So if it was a generator, would we need a water permit for it?
I think
Yes.
we've said, anything you put in the
Yes.
buffer in the
Okay.
control area,
All right.
that involves construction, right?
Okay.
It involves digging or, so I don't know whether plopping a generator down, but clearly digging a hole for a propane tank and pilot and whatever foundation there's going to be for the deck, that would qualify
Right.
for water
Yeah,
law.
so I think they both need the water law. It's just a
Yeah,
question of
so I-
should the propane tank be in the deck variance?
I was just going to, just to complete thought, I was going to say, I don't think you need a variance for a buried propane tank.
Okay.
In the setback, I think you'd need it for the deck, if the deck is, within 100 feet or whatever, 75 feet, whatever it is.
Right.
So technically, just for my edification, you could potentially put a propane tank 5 feet from a property line. Buried propane tank.
Yes,
People do it. I mean,
Okay.
yes, because it's exempted from, it's not a structure. It's not an accessory structure.
Okay, I'm just
it's
wondering.
it's a good question. It's worth looking at.
Well,
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it after the meeting is
You
over.
know what it is? Propane tank is normally tied into a generator. So
Yeah.
every time they apply for a generator and it's a go. It could be in the setback, you know what I'm saying? But propane with the heating, that raises a different question.
Well, I do feel better now that I couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
I'm not the only one that is not completely clear.
So what we need here is the water permit and a variance on the setback. Is that, am I correct there?
I was going to also ask if we felt that based on the location of the tank, if there was any kind of a town engineer required to look at this, or the DEC.
He's gonna need a DEC permit. There's no question, says.
We usually had somebody go out and look at these things when they're in the controlled area, even if it's relatively minor.
Yeah, so what I explained to Sarah was that I thought the variance is a separate issue. We could do the variance, and then they have to do the application for the water permit.
Right.
And then we would get an escrow and we would have the town engineer check it out.
Sounds good.
Logical.
So then we're removing the tank then from the variance at this point, and the variance is just going to address the deck.
Correct.
Okay.
And then what about the size of the deck, though? I think we had a question about that too, right?
Oh, yep. I have a couple more questions.
Okay, sorry. Sorry.
No, that's
didn't
all
mean to
right.
preempt you.
No, it's good. I'm just wanting to get the major ones out of the way and then come back to the others. So the other thing was, I understand, Patrick, that you had mentioned that you were now going to go with taking the existing deck and extending it to the end of the, is it to the end of the garage or is it to the end of the residence?
It's to where the garage, it's the end of the house, right before, like where the garage starts.
Okay, so the deck,
Basically, I'm extending the deck
Right there.
for the
That's it.
length of the house.
right, so that's where it ends. And right
Yes,
now,
that's where it ends.
okay. Okay, so are we then going to continue with the variance on the larger deck square footage, or are we going?
I would actually like to back out of that, and it's just kind of evolved over the past few months here that I no longer feel the need for the large deck, and I just want to basically a continuation of the existing deck, and I measured it. It's from the existing deck. It's 22 more linear feet, but the same width off of the house that I currently have.
And
So how
what's the width?
What's the square footage then?
It's 6. Yeah, I can do that quick. It's 132 square feet.
Is that the total or extension?
That's the extension.
New. That's the new square footage.
The new, about a 6 by 22.
And what was the depth of the original structure? The original proposed structure, just so we can try to figure out now what our setback is, right?
It's actually exactly in line with the existing deck.
No, I understand. I was talking about
6 foot off of the house is where the existing deck ended, and now I've just kind of stayed completely in line with that.
I understand that. The number I'm trying to get to is now how far is the edge of your only 6 foot new deck from Brown's Pond? So what was the dimension of the other deck? The one you were going to build?
Can you grab me those plans? Oh, right there, on the very top of that. Yeah.
Sarah,
Yeah.
is it just 6 feet from 55.2?
No,
No.
it's, I actually I extended the existing deck to the south and then did an offset line to, and for Brown's Pond, you notice that I just draw a straight dashed line, which is really close to the edge of Brown's Pond where the property line is.
Right.
And so now the new offset distance is.
Thank you. That's what I'm after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is approximately 69 feet.
69. Oh, I see. The 55.2 is to the end of the proposed.
Yeah,
deck.
the larger
Oh, I
portion.
thought that was all the way to the house.
Yeah, and obviously, I just spoke to Patrick today, and so I was unaware that the deck was constructed. I'll obviously revise the plan and accurately locate the existing deck, and so the plan will be amended to show what is actually built, and then I'll also field locate the propane tank that's been installed also.
Okay. That sounds good.
So do we want to then go ahead and do the motion resolution now based on these proposed numbers? Or do we want him to just do the new map and come back with the water permit and do it all at once?
You could just give it the one based on the 69 feet, because he still has to go anyway to the zoning board of appeals. So,
Yeah.
and then he will present the new map to the zoning board of appeals.
Right.
You're only doing recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead then with the resolution for just the deck that's at the 69 foot.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
And take all the stuff about the propane tank out.
Yep. That's easy.
Make the number changes that Mark just gave you.
Then we'll have to adjust it before it goes to the ZBA.
Yeah. And then
Okay.
Mark's going to do a new map for the ZBA
Yes,
and for when they come back for the water permit.
correct.
Right.
And what about the town engineer? Is that still
We're
going to
gonna-
happen?
So
We're going to address that on the water law permit.
Yeah, so Sarah, that's going to be addressed through the water permit.
Perfect.
When
Just
they
fine.
come for the water permit, then we'll ask for the town engineer.
Okay. So you want me then to go ahead with the motion resolution?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
any other discussion?
I think Art has to chime in. Where's Art?
Yeah, you read, has anybody else got any questions before Sarah reads her resolution? Go for it, Sarah.
Okay, I make the following motion and resolution. Town of Clinton Planning Board to provide a positive recommendation to the Zoning Board of Appeals on the requested variance, singular, to section 250 attachment 2, reducing the rear yard setback back from 75 feet to 69 feet to enlarge and repair an existing wood deck located in the rear yard of the existing single-family residence as requested. And then I hear all that. By Patrick W. Murphy Jr. on property located at 53 Lake Pleasant Drive, Statsburg, New York. Tax grid number in an AR5 zoning district. Whereas the applicant is requesting an area variance of the rear yard setback from 75 to 69 feet, section 250 attachment 2, on a 1.75 acre lot to enlarge and repair an existing wood deck located in the rear yard of an existing single family residence. The lot is a 1.75 acre lot. This lot is non-conforming due to its acreage. 1.75 or 5 acres is required. All the lots in this area are pre-existing substandard lots, many with similar setback variances. It is our judgment that the variance required to construct this deck would not adversely affect the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. The lot is non-conforming in an AR5 zoning district. Lake Pleasant Drive is a private cul-de-sac. Property, is it in an agricultural district?
It is, the property is not, but on my plan, it's within 500 feet of an ag district. If you look in the upper left corner, I denote the ag parcels that are within 500 feet of this parcel.
Yeah, but it is not in an ag district, right, Mark?
It is not.
Okay, so you just say it is.
Okay, property is not in an agricultural district. The size of the deck would be 132 square feet. This would make the lot coverage, Justin, I'll need your help or somebody. to figure out the lot coverage square foot. And then we can determine, I think we're within the 7%, but I'll have to look at that. The location of the proposed deck and proposed, the location of the proposed deck is within a controlled area, section 250 attachment 78, which is being within 100 feet of a pond. The property is not, I believe, within a ridgeline, scenic and historic protection overlay district, correct? Mark?
Yes, that's my understanding. I took a look at the, that section of the law today, and I don't believe we're inside, we're within that district.
The deck is not visible from adjoining parcels or the road, but can be seen from Brown's Pond. Benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by any other way. The New York State Environmental Quality Review Act has determined that the granting of an area variance for single-family, two-family, or three-family residence is a review action, and therefore this action is not subject to further review. Alleged difficulty is self-created. The requested area variance is substantial, but this should not preclude its granting. The non-conforming smaller nature of the lots in the area around Brown's Pond make the variance for the deck not a substantial request. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Clinton Planning Board is making a positive recommendation to the Zoning Board of Appeals for an area variance.
Discussion?
So Art, what Sarah was just making reference to that one thing, the lot coverage, but I think we're clear on that, aren't we?
If I can, I believe we are, and if the board would like, I'll actually calculate, I'll provide a calculation for lot coverage to the board.
Okay, for zoning? Okay.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, I think we're okay on that.
Okay, discussion, anybody? Okay, all in favor? Start with Paul.
Aye.
Tracy, aye.
Sorry, that was Paul.
Jerry Dolan, aye. Jack, aye.
Justin Carroll, aye.
Sarah Love, aye.
Okay, Art DePasqua, aye. So moved. Mark, you know this is a two-step process. Our recommendation is positive, and we'll have to go before the Zoning Board of Appeals to get the final, your final approval, and you got to come back here for your water permit, okay?
Understood.
I didn't hear you, Mark.
Oh, understood. Did you hear that?
Okay, good.
Art?
Mark, you want to consider reaching out to the DEC, whether you need a DEC permit?
I don't, for the propane tank?
No, for the deck,
For
the
the deck?
distance. Yeah, you're still within the controlled area.
Right, but just let me check, but I don't believe Brown's Pond is a designated wetland. Is that correct?
It's a lake though.
It's a lake. I don't believe you will, but I will confirm that for the board. I don't believe DEC permitting is required. But I will, I'll provide a document or just confirmation to the board on that.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
But they definitely need to do the water permit with us, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, all set.
Great. Just chiming in. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Patrick.
take care, Patrick.
All right. Thank you. This was my first meeting like this.
Patrick, I'll call you tomorrow about the resolution. All right, Patrick?
Thank you very much, Arlene.
All right, there.
Okay.
Bye.
All right,
All right. Good night.
good night, everyone.
Night.
Hi, Mark.
Great, you can sign them out.
They've left. Wait, Patrick Murphy's still got his laptop connected. It doesn't matter. And that, if you have any other business, you can do it now.
Yes, we're gonna do Omega.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is Omega Campground Annual Permit Renewal. Is anybody here for that?
I had, this is Jerry, I have the routine resolution that we do each year. They've supplied the approvals, and the inspections been done by the zoning administrator.
Okay, and the
So-
Board of Health, and we got all of that, right?
Yes, so I'd like to make the following motion for resolution to the Town of Clinton Planning Board approves the following with regard to the application for annual renewal of a special permit for the operation of Long Pond Campground, 150 Lake Drive. It has a tax grid. Whereas the subject campground is regulated by a deed agreement of covenants and restrictions and stipulation of settlement recorded in the Dutchess County Clerk's Office on 1/24/91. That agreement was between CVH Charter Corp and the Town of Clinton. All applicable fees have been paid. The zoning administrator has inspected the site and confirms by memo to the planning board dated in March 2020. The applicant has met the conditions outlined in the deed of agreement of covenants and stipulation of settlement, and there are no known violations on the property. There are 67 campsites on the campground. All camping trailers are duly licensed. There's no change in the number of sites. The current site plan is on file with the Town of Clinton Zoning Office. The applicant has installed number identification signs for each site. Long Pond Campground has a Dutchess County Health Department approval to operate the campground for the period from 4/30/2020 to 4/30/21. Now therefore be it resolved, the planning board recommends the issuance of the annual renewal of an operating permit and requests the town of clerk to issue such renewal permit for the period from 4/30/2020 to 4/30/2021.
Tracy, second.
Okay, discussion. All in favor, start with Paul.
Paul says aye.
Tracy, I.
Jack, aye.
Justin, I.
Sarah Love, aye.
Jerry, aye.
Art DePasqua, aye. So moved. Okay. Thank you, Jerry.
Art, it's Jack. I know the other Murphy application, the Willow Lane one, is off the agenda, but Arlene, are they going to reapply?
It's under discussion right now because of the layout. It's because right now what they're trying to do, hold on, let me get that on the screen. This way you could get everybody's input.
Yeah, I've got I just looked at it before this meeting started, but it looks like the kind of thing that if this group doesn't know the answer already, I would want to get advice of counsel on. They're proposing to, it's a flag lot kind of a situation, but now instead of a flag lot, they're proposing to have a driveway that bisects the front lot to access the rear lot, and the front lot would then be divided into two separate pieces, lot 1 east and lot 1 west. And maybe you guys know more than I do, I'm sure you all do, but I've never come across a situation where we have one lot that was not physically contiguous, that was separated into two physically different pieces. There it is. And
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think I think we've definitely seen lots on either side of a road with the little squiggly thing, right?
Yeah, this is not a road. This is another lot.
So this is like the Novak's property where Niagara Mohawk cuts it in half.
Yeah, but that's separate. That has the power line thing. This one is a road. They called it farm road, but it's not really like a legal road, not a town road, not a state road.
So it's kind of like a flag lot sort of thing?
It was, yeah, the prior drawing had a little flag along the west end, where it says Lot 1 now, west. And that was artificial because you couldn't build on it because it was in a conservation area, it's too steep, all of that. So, and the zoning administrator raised questions about having an easement where this new proposed access is. So instead of an easement, they now propose to make that part of Lot 2, which is the zoning law says the access must be part of the same lot. So now it would be, but it divides the first lot into two physically different properties. And if we don't have a precedent for that, and maybe we do, and that'll be fine.
So,
but if we don't, I'd want to give that some thought with council as to whether you can have a lot that is not physically one piece.
Yeah, because we never had this, that's what I'm saying. This, it's very unique that this lot 1 is separated by this road, and this lot 2 goes up there, and there's the building
okay,
house.
so why is this not exactly like the Novak property?
Because under our zoning regulations, it said the only one that's allowed is with the easement with the public utility.
But hang on. The easement, it's not an easement that the public utility has at Novak's. They own the land, because that's why Novak's couldn't subdivide that back lot.
Yeah, but this is not. This lot 2, this road that they're using is not an easement. That's not an easement to a public utility. That's the only way that you could.
No, but I think when you use the word easement, it means that they don't own the land.
Right. This is not an easement. You're absolutely right.
Right.
It is a situation where you have two pieces to one lot. And
so how much?
The question in my mind is if you could have one piece, on Willow Road, you could have another piece on Fiddler's Bridge, and
so
say
how much,
that's a lot.
Yeah. So how much acreage is in Lot 1 East?
It's
The old Lot 1
5.90.
was a little over 6 acres. So this would be about the same.
Hang on. But so how much acreage is in Lot 1 East? Like how far away are they from how much acreage they need?
60. The piece of Lot 2 is about 60 feet.
No, the one, we can't see how much.
The one to the left here. You're talking about to the west, right?
No, the east.
No, the east.
Oh, the east?
3.5.
I don't know. That's why they need
3.5
more
acres.
info.
Hang on. Go ahead, Paul.
3.4 acres.
Yeah.
And how much, is it a 5 acre? Is it 5 acres they need?
Yes.
They need 5 acres.
So is there any way for them to get the rest of their acreage going backwards instead of?
Yes, there is. And
why can't they just do that?
That's exactly the question the zoning administrator raised in a letter to us. And he had serious problems with the prior arrangement because you could do this by just making the east side bigger and going farther back. And apparently the applicants are rejecting that and want to have this configuration. So we can put it on the agenda for whenever they want to discuss it. But if they really want to go with this kind of an approach, as they seem to do, it seems very odd to me. And I really would like to know if we can define a lot to be two physically different pieces.
I would think we can, but you would need to have the attorney talk about that, right?
That's my point.
I certainly have seen many properties that are parcel A and parcel B. And
can everybody see this layout
that are
now?
not contiguous.
Yes, we can
This
see it.
is the layout that Lou suggested. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
No.
So this is the layout that the previous ZA So you see that this is like a 5 acre, right? So
I don't see.
We don't have that one, Arlene.
Hold on.
Aren't we creating a substandard lot?
Yes.
2 of them.
Yes.
That's what's troubling me.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, lot 1 east and west combined are,
Or more than 5 acres.
right,
Right.
right.
But
So really, it's not that's not the question. The question is, can it be divided? Can it have another piece of property through the middle of it?
you could look at it, well, that's the suggestion the zoning guy came up with, which is,
Right.
and they apparently don't want to do that.
Are you seeing it or no?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
there is an alternative that doesn't require a variance. I don't know how much we want to get into this now since it's not on the agenda. I'm just saying that if others think that it would be helpful to get council's thoughts about this,
Well, I think that would
like
be
to
the
do that
yeah.
before they come in for a hearing.
Sure.
And why can't the property line, the left-hand side property line, why can't it move further left so that it doesn't have to go all the way up to the pond at the top? Like, you don't need all that up there because it's already in their driveway sort of.
It could, and that's what the zoning guy suggested, but apparently the applicants have rejected that because they've come up with this east and west proposal.
And it doesn't work for them.
And I don't know what their thinking is. It's something I'd like to know, and I can
Jack,
find out before they come back, but.
Jack,
Yeah.
accordingly, that layout that Lou suggested doesn't work for them because they want to put the house by the pond, right in the back
Right,
there.
right.
And so they want it, it just doesn't fit this layout for them.
Okay, that's more than I knew 5 minutes ago, so thank you for that.
For them, it's going to be hard. Hold on. For them, it's going to be hard to sell with this kind of layout because you got to remember, they're going to sell this back lot. So for them, it's going to be hard to sell that
front
kind
lot.
of layout. No, the back, because he lives in the front.
No, he doesn't.
Huh?
Nobody, no, they rent out the front, I
It's
think.
all for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
well,
sell both.
Nobody lives
all
in
right.
front.
I
Is
guess
the-
he doesn't live there anymore.
So,
Never.
but moving the left lot line just further left and moving the driveway way over,
Oh,
or doing a driveway easement. Why?
Sorry, you can't do that because of that bad turn. You can't get a driveway in there.
Oh,
That's
okay.
how it was originally proposed as a
Got
flag
it.
lot.
Got it. Thank you.
So they've drawn this line for the driveway at the point at which you can get sight distance
Got
in
it.
both directions.
So if they want to go with their proposal of the east and west, does the board want to spend the money to ask council whether we can do it?
Well,
or
there's
just
an
deal with
escrow.
it the way it is?
We have an escrow.
Now, I would like to know if this kind of an arrangement is a permissible definition of a lot. Because
I think we absolutely have to know that before they come in.
I
Yeah.
agree with that
Can't go
completely.
around and around about it and not know.
I agree with that
I
completely.
agree.
I would like to know from council whether this is permissible, because if it is, I don't know why you would limit it to ones that are just bisected by a roadway as opposed to being in 2 different locations altogether.
Right.
It seems to be an odd way to define a lot. So I'd like to know whether this is even a starter. So
Fair enough.
And
Arlene?
there's no way to do just an easement through the existing front
Well,
lot.
that's what, that was their prior proposal. And the zoning administrator had all kinds of questions about that because it denied the rear lot maintenance and control over its access way. They were proposing a little flag and calling it access, but it was just a line on the site plan. It wasn't any kind of
But
meaningful.
they could do a road maintenance agreement with the existing people in the front and have it filed with their deeds.
The zoning administrator had a number of reasons
Okay.
why that was not, he was not happy with that kind of arrangement.
Okay.
He could be wrong, and we can talk about that with them. But
I suggest that we that we get some legal counsel on this. If we,
I
Also,
agree.
if we're gonna do ask the lawyer, why don't we ask him about the easement thing too?
Fine.
You know, if we're gonna have him look at it and understand it, why don't we ask him if an easement would be a possibility or not as well?
Yeah, with some sort of a filed maintenance agreement that runs with the deeds.
This is Paul. So I'm not going to vote on this application. I just, if we're going to send this to the lawyer, let me just say, Lou's opinion on this should be sent to the lawyer because he
Yes.
went through all of the zoning provisions that, you know, apply to this situation and analyzed them. And so there's the reason he denied it is the zoning law does not permit, it does not permit access exclusively through an easement.
Oh, okay.
Zoning
Where
law
there's no
says
other-
it has to be the access has to be within the same lot.
Right.
That's the variance they want. That's
Okay.
a
I'm
big
not,
ask.
again, I'm not,
That's a very
I'm not
big
taking,
ask.
yeah,
Got
so
it.
I'm not taking a position because I'm not voting and I'm not going to take a position. I just, that's, if you want to read why he did it, Arlene has copies of it. And want to see what how he reasoned it through. He wrote it up, and then I just think
Which one are you
the
talking
the
about?
lawyer should see that.
Right.
Oh,
denial.
yeah, the previous one. Yeah, that's why originally with the easement in here, that's why he denied it. It's you can't. So
Yeah. So Arlene, will you send him not just this
yeah,
lot one, lot, east and west, but also the prior one and Lou's letter of March 4th,
yeah.
which lays out his concerns. And I think, it's not a small problem. So
I
know,
I
but
very
right
much
now-
would like his thoughts.
But right now, the one that they really want, they're hoping to the layout is this layout, the current layout.
I understand that, but I think in
Yeah.
order to make a judgment on this proposal, if I were the lawyer looking at it, I would want to know why the zoning officer had a problem with the prior proposal that was an easement and that violated the access on one lot rule. And I'd want to incorporate that in my analysis of the east-west proposal. So if you could send the whole thing to him,
Yes, yes.
and if he
yes.
wants to talk about it, I'd be happy to discuss
Yeah, no.
it with him.
I just say one thing. Sorry, Arlene.
Yes.
Again, I'm not taking a position on any of this, but if we're going to allow this kind of thing, it's a precedent for future applications where you
That's my
have
concern.
people who want to call two different. So I agree with Jack, that you would want to have a legal basis to say yes or no, to this kind of thing.
Let me just give you the zoning officer right now. Based on looking at this, we talked today, and he said it's not permissible because it's two parcel under one lot separated. He said it's not, and it's not in the code. If it's not in the code, it's not permitted. But that's his stake.
Yeah, I would like to hear from the lawyer on it.
Okay, no, of course, no denial. We're doing that.
Good.
okay,
So-
next. We have 3 sets of minutes. I'm sure everybody has read through all the minutes.
Absolutely.
Justin.
I read them.
Okay, can I have a motion on 1/21/20?
Justin, so moved.
Second, Jerry,
Do we have
Tracy,
a-
I.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, can I have a motion on 2/18?
Justin, so moved.
Jerry, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 3/3/2020?
Motion.
Can we have a second?
Second, Jerry.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. I have a question. Who seconded Sarah's motion?
Before? You mean the original one?
Yeah, now who seconded the motion, the Murphy?
Oh, Murphy. Hold on. Murphy. Sarah motion. Tracy.
Okay. Thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Hold on. We have Dean. Let's acknowledge Dean.
Hi,
Liaison
Dean.
officer. Any news, Dean?
Oh.
No, it's good to see the troubles with not only the board members having to get on, but you know, the
Hey,
clients having to get on.
wait till we get the public hearing for the ZBA. I don't know how that's gonna fly out. Letting everybody, you know, so it's concerning. We're in a learning curve here.
Yep.
I mean, I think we're going to need somebody else sort of present to help people, don't you? To call them up. You know, Fred's dealing with the one thing, but don't you think we should have someone else that can kind of be there as a technical assist?
Well,
Call people and help them in.
It may be prudent to have people try to, you know, just like you guys had the one day to test your, you know, using this whole thing, that maybe, you know, Arlene, if they're talking to you during the day, maybe they can, you know, zoom into you and see that they have the ability. My suspicion is that the Robert or whoever it was probably did not have a camera or a microphone because he was using a desktop.
Yes,
so
that's part of the other
those
people
extra
problem.
things where the laptop would have it built in. He probably just didn't even think about it. Felt that he'd probably get it on, and that's why he couldn't do any of those things.
So you're suggesting that all these applicants, I'm going to have a practice session with them to make sure that they could get on.
Yeah, well, or they could try it themselves, but, you know, have the ability where they could test to make sure that they can get onto Zoom and that their computer is capable of doing all those things.
Even if we just let them test from 7:15 to 7:30 and just let them in, hear their voice, see their video, and then put them back in the waiting room.
Sure.
That's a great
That's a good
idea.
idea.
With a blank screen.
Good
I like
idea.
Perfect idea. Then the IT guy can help them, right?
Yeah.
I can help them. I mean, if you want to
Right.
give my phone number to the applicants, I mean, to the broader public,
Yeah, no.
it'd be
Yeah.
insane. But
I think maybe we're better off giving their number to you.
that's fine. If I see someone having trouble, I can call them directly and try to help them get in.
Exactly.
Once I start the recording and once I start the live feed, I'm free to help. So
Can we give Fred, Arlene, a list of the
I
contact
don't know, we got to
numbers?
check the town supervisor because you got to remember, Fred is not that cheap. So, I mean, we gotta,
that's fine.
Well, if he's here anyway. No?
I don't know. The town board
even
has to
during the
decide
week,
on
if
that. It
someone
gets
wants
paid.
to do it, they can do it
Doesn't
to
cost
me. I mean,
anything
I can,
extra for me to provide tech support after I've started the meeting. It's not going to cost any more.
Okay, well, so
So
there
you might as
go.
well, yeah, you might as well pile it on me. I jumped in and I said I'm here to help, so I'm going to help anytime, any way you'd like me to.
So the other issue that we had a problem is with the ZBA practice session last night. So let's say, and I'm still gonna have to talk to the town attorney because the public notice, the legal notice and everything. So, because we're not giving it out public, the link, you know, because otherwise everybody could just call us, you know what I'm saying, or join us. So let's say you're a concerned neighbor. So you're going to call me and then you're going to tell me, oh, I'm abutting this neighbor. I have a problem or I'm okay with it. I want to talk. And then I will send that link to that person. So, and then come public hearing, you know, we're going to put them in a waiting room and then let them in one by one to avoid chaos. I don't know how it's going to work. Let's try. I mean,
Or let them all into the meeting and then put them back in the waiting room. So that we know they're all up and running.
Yeah, you
we're
could
trying to avoid chaos.
Well, I don't think that's chaos. I'm just saying that everybody at 7:15, you know, tell them they need to sign in at 7:15 And then by 7:30, we bump them out into the waiting room.
Right, that's fine.
That's
And
fine.
then we know who's here and who's not, and we say hello and
I
don't
think
know.
that's a really good idea, and that avoids getting into the meeting and then having like Patrick's problems.
right.
No,
We're
no, no,
all
I'm talking
waiting.
about public. We're talking about public hearing.
No, we weren't. We were talking about
Oh,
Patrick,
I w-
the problems we
talking
had
about-
with Patrick.
no, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about public hearing.
I thought we were
with
talking
regards
about Justin's idea that our people are gonna come in at 7:15 and make sure that everything's working, and then Fred can put them back into the waiting room, and then we know that they've got everything functioning.
And if we need to contact them, we can give Fred the contact information, or we as the individual, whoever's handling their particular variance can contact them and help them through it. Like I just did with Patrick, for instance.
And Arlene's point is we should also do that for members of the public at a public hearing who will want to speak to some of these.
Right.
So they'll have to come, so the notice for the next meeting should make it clear that members of the public who may want to comment on any of the public hearing matters should also be there at 7:15 to get brought in.
Yep. Right. Do we have a public hearing at the next one?
I don't know. Bed and breakfast on Hollow Road is ready too, so most likely. Because the Department of Transportation, Steve, and the highway, okay, the new layout of the parking space.
And that's when we've had members of the public come in and comment, so.
Yes. And I didn't want to do that right now because this is our very first Zoom virtual meeting. So I to include the public hearing, it's like, let's get used to
that's
this,
fine. Yeah.
you know.
And hopefully this will be one of our last Zoom meetings.
Oh, please, from your lips.
Okay, do I
So
have?
much fun. You don't like it?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Like it at all.
Second.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn? And I would like to speak briefly with Fred. So,
Motion to adjourn, Jerry.
okay,
Go ahead.
Second.
I'll stay here.
okay.
Make sure you're not live.
All in favor?
Okay.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everybody. You did a great job.
Good night, all.
Yes,
Okay.
did a